Once you've taken all of your clothes off and been on a wrecking ball like Miley Cyrus, there isn't anywhere else to go. There's no shame.
You've done it then. Yeah.
So it's sort of that felt like a real moment. It was like a watershed moment.
Welcome to Before the Lights. If you're new here, we're a team of health professionals based in London who train people from all over the creative world to get ready for TV, film, even live shows, but most importantly, for everyday life. I'm Dave Hasty.
I'm George Ashwell.
I'm Georgia Canavan.
And I'm Josh Betteridge.
We've been lucky enough to build a pretty special group of members here at the club, so we thought it would be nice for other people to get to know some of them as well as we do.
I was like, I need to start going to the gym. So I literally got out my laptop, and was like, PTs for actors.
Welcome to Before the Lights podcast, guys. I'm Greg James. With me over here is Dangerous Dave, and here is Evil George. And today we're talking grind set.
Grind set?
It's not about mindset, guys. It's about grind set.
It was the very first time I met you when you came in and you actually had to run off and be sick in the toilet.
You feel quite vulnerable when you're kind of lying on your back with your legs up in the air because you feel sick, just breathing. And I'm like, this never happens. I'm so sorry.
So sit back, only do some exercise if you want to, and maybe even learn something about how to look after yourself. Welcome back to the Before the Lights podcast. And today's guest, I'm going to use a big phrase, British broadcasting legend.
Oh,
I think he is.
I would say so.
Yeah, I'd give it.
Definitely in my opinion anyway.
wow.
Greg James,
Thanks for having me.
welcome.
I'm very happy to be here.
I feel like we are stepping into your world, to be honest.
Absolutely.
You've
It's
been in
fun.
ours for a period of time, and now we're
Well,
very much
yeah.
in yours.
Yeah, this is where I feel most comfortable.
Yeah.
And then through there in the gym is where you feel most comfortable. So this is perfect. This is the perfect joining of worlds.
Yeah. Nice
For both
little
of us.
synergy.
I did say in the gym today that Greg's probably just going to take over and start hosting our podcast for us.
Welcome to Before the Lights podcast, guys. I'm Greg James. With me over here is Dangerous Dave, and here is Evil George. And
Evil George.
today we're talking grind set.
Grind set.
I don't even know
That's
what
a
that
new one.
means.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's not about mindset, guys. It's about grind set.
it really is.
Okay.
Oh, is it going to turn into one of those like Uber mask podcasts?
Yeah, that's
where
what this
people
is, no?
explain- Yeah,
Yeah, one of those,
100%.
like-
Oh, I've had testosterone tablets before I started. No, I am whatever's higher than high performance. I'm there.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
think
I'm
this
here.
could very easily slip into one of those American man podcasts that
Yeah.
goes for 3 hours of solid chat.
Yeah, I'm going to start saying the vaccines don't work.
Yeah.
I'm going to start talking about how men aren't men anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing
how
conspiracies.
You have like 3 8-hour days in one day because
Yeah.
you don't
How to
sleep.
bring down your own career.
Yeah,
in
we're
one
doing all
fell
of that.
swoop.
We're doing conspiracy theories. We're going full. We're going full.
So we can
Stephen
add this
Bartlett.
to the list of your already successful podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got
'Cause
Tail
now
Enders,
you're the host.
Fast and
Yeah.
the Curious, and then grind set.
Grind set with Greg James.
It works.
Let's go.
I'll be honest, it
Yeah,
works.
we're going to get some health professionals on that don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Well, we're here. So
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah, you've already done that.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that box ticked.
Yeah.
First things first, is a very happy birthday to you.
Thank
It's his
you.
birthday.
Yeah, I'm such a loser that I wanted to broadcast again on my birthday.
Yeah.
Second broadcast of the day.
But I was very flattered to be asked onto this podcast. But also, I've been coming to this gym for nearly a year now, and I wanted to talk about it because it's really massively helped me
Amazing.
great to
working
hear.
out here.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure.
Something I'd written down as a talking point was that it was almost some kind of an inevitability that you would eventually end up here.
Yeah,
There's just
definitely.
so many ways that our paths were crossing, but not quite crossing.
It's actually quite mad, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
The people always have a go at the London bubble, but the media bubble actually is quite small, I guess.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
I've worked with George's wonderful partner Yasmin
Mhm.
for many years. In fact, I can't remember when I met. It must have been about 2011, maybe 2010,
Mm.
when Yaz was on One Extra, and then your cousin Roisin.
Yeah, it was a weird one, isn't it?
That is mad. That Roisin was the newsreader on the Breakfast Show for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
when
I
we
still have
started.
people that I've known for quite a while, because obviously millions of people listen to your show, and all of a sudden they'll realise, like, Roisin Hasty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dave
you're Dave
Hasty.
Hasty. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're cousins. And they're like, wow.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
well, there's not a lot. I've never met a Hasty that's not part of my
Related to
family.
you.
Mm.
Yeah.
They must exist. I'm sure
Yeah,
they're out
I'd never
there.
met a Hasty until I'd met Roisin.
Yeah.
Met you.
And then met Dave.
Yeah.
I did I was searching my own name when we did the Royal Parks half marathon. We did it with Choose Love, and there were 2 other Hasties running, and I was like, I'm going to win
Were
this
you the
category.
fastest Hasty?
Oh, by far.
Oh, good.
I was like, if I come
Hasty by
third,
name.
Yeah.
third out of 3 Hasties would have been bad. I think the other 2 might have been like sisters because they crossed the line at like the exact same time. But I sent it to our like family
Probably
WhatsApp, being
distant
like,
cousins.
I've done the family proud. I've kept ourselves at the top of that pile.
If you ask Dave what got him through that half marathon, it was 3 Percy pigs being shoved in his mouth about halfway round by me accidentally.
I thought it was 1. So George was holding them out because like
I just
there
wanted
was
to hand them to him.
and I thought, oh, that'd be good. And I just sort of
Yeah.
opened my gob and was like, boom, straight in, and then quickly realised there was 3, which turns into essentially glue. The second you chew them, so that was
when
quite
I did
difficult.
I did a marathon years ago, and I overdid it on jelly babies because I was so sad halfway round, and so I hated it so much.
Was that because had you done one before?
I hadn't really. I trained as much as I thought I could, but I probably should have done a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, it was one of the worst things I've ever done, a marathon. When anyone goes like, "Oh my god, you should do a marathon," I'm like, if
Which
you don't
one?
want to,
Don't do it.
I did
Which
the
one
London.
was it?
I did it
London
twice.
Oh wow!
I don't know why.
I didn't know that.
It was awful, and I was sick because I had so many jelly babies. I was like, I just need something to numb the pain and like some joy. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to keep eating jelly babies.
Well, at
And then
first
you're
it
just
gives you that
sick.
boost. You're like, whoa, there's a real difference there. But it doesn't. It's not equal every time.
No,
So you
but
can't just keep adding
And
jelly babies
How
for better
many
feelings.
is too many? At
well,
what point does it
I
tip
don't know
over?
Well, I don't know.
You were eating
how
by the
many I had.
handful.
Well, because I just felt that I'm so sad. I need to do something. I
Were you
hate
keeping
this.
them in a special pocket?
Yeah, the
in your
little
shorts?
running pouch thing.
Just stuffed full of jelly babies.
But it was that on top of the gels.
Oh well,
and
if
all
yeah,
of that stuff. It was
if
just,
you have that is an interesting point, which seeing as we are essentially a health and
Grindset
fitness,
podcast.
a grindset podcast, yeah. There is like not a science to it, but you want to make sure that you're not just giving yourself like the sugar, which is just an instant hit, and those gels have a lot of caffeine as well. So if you're just running essentially on that, and
You're
then
gonna
your
shoot yourself
body,
for one.
yeah, you'll shoot yourself, and then there'll be a point at which your body all of a sudden has to generate its own energy from,
Christ.
especially with a marathon, you've got to be able to kind of
Yeah, that's what was happening.
synthesize the energy yourself, and you'll have just dropped off a cliff there, basically.
Well, I'm amazed I didn't die. I could have had a heart attack. All that
Yeah.
caffeine, all that sugar.
But you did it, and you did it twice. Did you do it the same way both times?
It was
Did
the same
you-
route, yeah.
You learned from your
Yeah.
Did you learn from your jelly baby mistake?
I did learn from my jelly baby mistake, but I still hated it. I wanted to do it. The first time I wanted to do it because I was like, oh, let's do the thing because it's a good thing to say you've done.
Yep.
But I never had a dream to do the marathon. But I sort of got.
Mhm.
I guess you get flattered into these things sometimes. And the second time I definitely was flattered into it because it was a great charity that offered me a place. And I don't regret doing it because you do raise a lot of money for it. And
Yeah.
I know people are like, oh, you should be so lucky you got a place in the marathon. I was lucky to get a place in the marathon, but I can still hate it.
Oh,
That's okay.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fine to hate it.
But we raised some
I
money,
agree.
so that's good. But I wouldn't want to do it
Yeah,
again.
There's other ways you can raise money for charity.
You
don't have to
still
put
still
yourself
like a
out
little
there.
run every now and again, though.
I do like running
Yeah.
a
but
lot.
not
I've
that
run since I was
distance.
about 15.
Mhm.
14 or 15, I discovered running and I discovered listening to music on an old MP3 player.
Nice.
And that was my sort of escape from, I guess, school anxiety. And that really was amazing.
Mhm.
I don't know how actually, you know what? I do know exactly why I started running. It's because I saw Micheal Palin on one of his documentaries running
Oh,
when I
yeah.
was a kid.
And you're obsessed with Michael
I'm
Palin.
not-
I'm now
obsessed.
really
I've
trying to
heard.
imagine what Michael Palin looks like when he runs.
They're fucking great.
Yeah.
He looked great,
course he
very, very together, very classy.
Is he wearing chinos?
There's a yeah. There's a bit in Around the World in 80 Days where he's running past the pyramids, and there's also a bit which I've since realised now, being an adult, that when he was training before he did his Around the World in 80 Days trip, he was running on Hampstead Heath,
Oh,
which
great.
is where I run quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
And I recognise a bit of the Heath. I go, oh my god, that's the Palin bit.
Have you seen
But yeah,
him?
I think I was so into him as a kid. I just wanted to copy everything he did. So I wanted the idea of travelling. I was like, I want to go travelling. Oh, I want to maybe present a TV show.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe I should do running as well.
Yeah.
So that was basically here's my fitness. His
I love
fitness
that.
goals.
He's your Mr. Motivator.
He is.
It's
Yeah,
worked. Hey, it's worked pretty well.
Mm.
You've ticked a lot of the boxes there that you were able to.
But I remember
achieve.
just finding just this amazing peace when I was running as a kid.
Mhm.
Because when you're a teenage boy, the world's confusing. I found school sort of fine, But I think I was quite an anxious child, and then I just loved being out in the open air on my own. And so running has always been a big part of my life. Actually, weirdly, until I met you two goons. And I
Well, when we met, you used to run and you used to do a little home workout and some yoga, right?
Yeah.
That was your little routine.
that was kind of it. And that was enough, and now you've ruined my life.
For the better.
And I'm now
Ruined it for the better.
a gym bore. But I've stopped running as much. I still run a bit for pleasure, but I don't run as obsessively as I did.
Yeah.
And I feel better for that because I don't feel quite as achy,
Mm-hmm.
and it started to hurt a bit.
Yeah.
My knees had
Well, a lot of the time people aren't kind of doing the extra strength and conditioning side of things to facilitate that. And running is, because it is, you can just whack your trainers on and off you go. It's very accessible, but there are things that can benefit it. And often we find that you basically just said it then yourself, that actually kind of dialing it down a little bit and not trying to be like, I have to do this 4 or 5 times a week or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It can be a bit better if you're just doing smaller dosages of everything and more variety.
I don't think I'd do more than 5k now.
Mhm.
And actually what I like to do is, if I go to a new place, if I go somewhere for work, if we do a big weekend somewhere, Luton, or wherever I like to run around the
Run
place.
around, see the sights of
And if
Luton.
I'm going away, if me and Bella are going away or something, like, I'll go for a run around that place. That's quite nice. I like that. But I like to see a place more than I like to, like, I must do 5k now.
Yeah, it's
But-
more just, it's kind of serving two purposes there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It gives
Or
you that
listening to a
little-
podcast. Actually, I listen to a lot of podcasts while I'm just jogging. That's quite nice. But I don't obsessively go and do, like, I must do 7k or 8k today,
Yeah.
whereas I used to. I cycle a lot more now.
Mm.
I cycle around London all the time, and sort of you plus cycling plus the stuff I do at home is kind of enough for my.
Yeah,
I
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that is enough.
Mm.
Definitely.
That's
you-
enough.
You
That's
touched
enough.
on it before, saying that the kind of the gym environment, possibly even going back to sort of being a teenage boy and starting running, because you're active, like you're into sport and
Mhm.
tennis and cricket and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Was the gym ever something that was introduced from a sporting perspective rather than from like an aesthetic kind of thing?
No, and that's maybe what's changed. Actually,
Yeah.
maybe that is the change. When I was a kid, I did have a gym membership. It was at the local swimming pool. It was Grange Paddocks in Bishop Stortford. They used to have a tiny little gym where we used to go, but there was no plan. It was just sort of go on the running machine for a bit, lift that weight for a bit. Like, there was no one was there to tell you anything. There wasn't sort of Instagram people just saying like, oh, how about these reps or that thing.
Mhm.
There was nothing. So you didn't know what you're doing really, and you were 18. So what do you know anyway?
Just trying to get hench for a trip to
Swimming,
Ibiza.
I did a bit of did a bit of swimming when I was at university. I've always quite liked swimming. I go through phases, but this is the most consistent I've been in terms of gym
Yeah.
ever.
And have you found, you said it's kind of helped, or you feel like there's I don't know if it's an improvement or you just feel like there's a benefit to it, but it's not just the moment in the gym. I guess you get the kind of psychological benefit of it, of pushing yourself and of getting that break out of your day, but also then there's an overlap. I think the thing that a lot of people are interested from our point of view is that we're working with people that are typically you wouldn't necessarily associate the gym with, whether it's a musician or an actor or someone in the media like yourself, but there's a real benefit to it professionally a lot of the time as well. Yeah,
there's loads in that answer actually. Where do I start with it? I mean, I was saying to George earlier, because we've just trained, that the big change for me is that I used to look at the gym as an interruption into my day. Like, oh, fuck's sake, I don't want to do that, it's so boring. Whereas now I look at the rest of my day as an interruption when I want to be here, which is a very strange thing to get my head around, because I was never really like that.
Yeah.
I would always try and fit in a bit of exercise when I could.
Yeah.
But I've realised that while I've prioritised it, I just feel so much better, happier, better in my job. I feel better. I'm more energetic. I sleep better. I know these are all basic. They're so basic. It's not groundbreaking stuff, but it really has changed the way I approach kind of everything. But I don't want to become a gym bore.
No.
He says on a fitness podcast. But I don't really talk about it, but maybe we should talk about it a bit more because it does take a lot of work.
But I think it's talking about it in a way that's not that kind of. It's not super detailed, and we know ourselves that what we do isn't groundbreaking at all.
No,
it's
no,
just
no,
the way
it
that
is.
we can. But the way we've learnt to apply it is just a bit different, I suppose. But then I think that allows people to have that feeling of like, oh, I want to do that again. I want to engage with that again, rather than trying to kind of get bogged down with the details of like what exactly is this and why is that good for you, which is great if you want to go and learn about that stuff. But the vast majority of people, it's more just create the routine and create the habit, and also find a way in that's going to be something that's a positive experience, really.
I think also getting older, I mean, I'm 39 today, and I didn't think I'd be weirdly, one of the things I wanted to do was come in today was to be in better shape than I was when I was 29, and actually better shape than I was in when I was 19, and I definitely am. And that's something I never thought I'd say, but I sort of caught this a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, pandemic-y, I guess. In the pandemic, I thought, I'm mid-30s now. I need to take this seriously and just stay well.
Yeah.
I sort of looked around at people my age, and also I looked at myself and thought, if you don't sort of catch this at some point, then you're never going to do it. And I just thought, I don't want the belly to go. I don't want to feel like I'm hunched. I don't want to feel sedentary. I don't want to feel like I'm inflexible or immobile, or I don't want to start decaying. Yeah. I think that's it. And I think you can, because the world is, you're busy, family happens, life happens, jobs are tough. You know, it's hard to fit all this into your routine. So it was I've had to be really mindful of it. Be like, I've got to do this. I have to prioritize. This is important. This is as important as work, because if I'm not healthy and energetic and fit and strong, then there isn't going to be any work. There isn't going to be a family. There isn't going to be a life, because I'm going to be ill. Or I'm going to be.
And it sounds like you've achieved that, really, in the sense of you feel you are prioritizing and wanting to come in and train, and you fit other things around that. Almost as like, can be like we talk about as a non-negotiable, and fitting it in. How does it become that?
It's that,
and it's like, how much of it would work for each individual? Is it once? Is it twice? Is it 3 times? Everybody's different, but finding what that level is, and then going, right, that's where I start. And then you find that becomes the routine, and then from there it's much easier.
And it was also, we chatted earlier, didn't we, George, about it not being a sort of a mania, because you can descend into mania. I think. I mean, we all know those people that are just meal prep every day, and that's fine if that's your thing, but that can never be my thing, because
you've got way too much going on for that to be your
thing.
It's also in the first place.
But I like going out still, and I love eating out, and I like cheese. So it wasn't about stopping myself from being myself. It was about doing a bit more of that, so that the odd pizza night out is completely fine.
I mean, that's going back to when we kind of first met. I know Dave was talking about how there was many different reasons why Greg would find us, but actually it was quite fortuitous. When we actually met was the time when you were kind of ready to do that and ready to do it. And I think we sat in a sushi shop in
true.
Soho.
Yeah,
I was having dinner with one of my clients, my friends, and Greg was having dinner with one of your old producers.
With my mate Daisy. Yeah.
And then and my mate got up to go to the toilet, and I was like, all right, it's not embarrassing now if I say I know Greg, but he doesn't know me. I said, Greg, you know my fiance. Yes. I've got a gym around the corner if you want to come in. Yeah. And you were up for it within 4 days. You'd booked in, you'd come in. We got the first day wrong, both of us, but yeah. And I think it was catching you at that point in your life was the perfect timing for you to go, all right, let's do it. Let's kind of kick into gear.
Definitely. And it was also about it being sustainable and at a nice level where it wasn't, I've got 6 weeks, and a lot of your clients are actors, aren't they? So they go, I've got 6 weeks. I'm in the new Marvel bollocks, whatever it is. And you go, oh my God. And then you do loads, and then nothing. Yeah. And that's sort of how the gym can trap you sometimes. You just I'm going to do this, and then
I look amazing, and then no, I haven't got any more.
But it was one of the things we wanted to, like, when we first did an episode. The first one was Nicholas Holt, wasn't it? And we talked a bit about that, how when people see those Marvel films, for example, or the X-Men things and all that stuff where people are in incredible shape, everyone's immediate assumption is like, that's how that person looks. And that's just them. I should look like that.
Hollywood stars,
but in reality, it's like there has been 6-8 weeks, sometimes more, of like real effort and kind of very considered lifestyle changes in order to get to that point.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make sure, because we live in the world where we see both sides of it, and it's sort of saying to people that that's the slightly unrealistic part of like magazine culture and all that stuff, which is it's the thing you see, and it's because it looks great. It's like thrust into your line of sight. But
it's much more important to me to feel strong and energetic and just fit, really, and quite and alert. The aesthetic thing is not as much of a thing for me, and I would always bang the drum for that to anyone listening, any age really, because that movie stars do look amazing. They look ripped. They look whatever. Same with people on Love Island. They've all been in the gym to prepare for Love Island.
There's a very definite goal that you have a timeline.
They haven't been eating well.
Yeah. They're probably at their unhappiest when they're taking that shot, and you're pinning all of your happiness on a certain thing.
Yeah.
But if you do the work and train, the aesthetics, one, they'll come a little bit in the favour of what you think is what you want, but also you'll learn that being stronger, being fitter, being healthier, being happier because of that is more important than how you look.
Yeah, of course. And like having a little belly is completely fine.
Absolutely fine.
And feeling stronger and bigger up top has been great. That feels lovely, but I just feel better because I'm much more alert. But I think it's dangerous. Those sorts of body goals thing is dangerous. It would, if I was to, if my message was anything, it would be just sort of strength and feeling like it's helped you.
Something you showed me, and probably you've got a good friend in Jimmy Anderson, who is a very good example of someone who's trained their entire life, but never from an aesthetic point of view, from a performance point of view.
Yeah.
And I know that you, like in the pandemic, I think he'd done little videos for you and the guys on tail enders to follow, and having that kind of level of instruction and guidance from someone who's literally sort of carved their career and understands it all from that point of view is quite cool.
Yeah, actually, that's what I was going to mention, Jimmy. Is that is such a great point. It's more that I'm much more interested in the mechanics of it than the aesthetics of it. Whatever it looks like on top is fine, but it's the Jimmy Anderson thing. It's so interesting. I've been so lucky to work with him and get to know him properly. He is built from stone. Like he is.
Yeah, he's solid.
Solid.
Well, when I bumped into
not
him,
enormous. He's actually quite slight. Because he has to be, because he's sort of lean.
He's one of the least injured fast
his
bowlers
longevity
of all time.
is incredible, isn't it? When you look at it, especially with fast bowling, when you watch it, particularly in slow motion, it's horrendous.
Strain on their body is insane.
The
the impact
biomechanics
is
are
just
extraordinary.
But
he gave me the Jimmy Anderson workout.
I've seen you showed me the video, and also part of it that I found quite funny is he's just doing it all almost effortlessly. Yeah, and then you're like looking at it, this is pretty hard stuff.
Pretty tough.
Yeah, so I tried it. So he's doing all these he's doing sort of what they Superman climbs, what they call like the
push up where it's like knee coming up to the side, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and he's not moving at all.
Solid.
There's no glitch in sort of no strain. And then I tried it, and I'm just like sort of like a bag of jelly trying to do it. But he does this whole thing without even breaking a sweat, obviously. But I did that during the pandemic, and it was really good. It was really helpful because it just focused my mind. I would watch the cricket while doing it, probably when they did those weird bubbled test matches, and so that was really helpful. So that's really good. But he's a real inspiration in terms of fitness, actually, for anyone who's 100%. Over 35. He is in unbelievable shape.
Yeah, he didn't need to retire,
and it's doable.
Yeah,
he obviously has to do that for his job, but you can achieve that. 100%. And I didn't really think about that. When I thought when I was younger, I thought, you get over 30 and you just get old and you sort of wither away and die. But then you see these sports people like Jimmy, and you go, oh wow, actually you are fitter than you were when you were 20.
LeBron James is 39 years old, and he's still one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he's 39.
And that's a strength thing, right?
Yeah.
That's a mechanics thing. So that's him and Andy Murray actually are two.
I mean, Andy Murray's insane.
Like mechanically, just amazing. The strength and the sort of core stability of it all. I'm sort of in awe of that a little bit. So yeah, those are, I'd say, they're my body goals, and Micheal Palin.
Michael Palin. No.
If you confuse
He's
those
just your running
those
on hamster
three
Heath
bodies
goal.
into one.
And The Rock.
And The
obviously.
Rock.
Obviously.
Yeah.
The Rock's arms, Palin's head and legs.
Can we request, just in case anybody that's like an animator is listening to this, I would like that to be drawn and made into a thing.
Yeah. Jimmy Anderson's chest and Andy Murray's torso.
The other thing I should say, just to caveat all of this, is I'm very lucky to have access to experts like you, and so I'm in a very privileged position to be able to afford personal training and a nice gym. But you don't have to do this. But I need this, and it's sort of it's a luxury for me. I don't have any kids. I earn decent money, and I wanted to really prioritize this. And I feel like spending money on this is a really good thing for me to do personally. But you don't it doesn't have to be. You don't have to have a personal trainer. I'm not trying to put you out of business.
No,
you don't have to have a personal trainer. You don't have to have a nice gym. You just need You need to spend time.
Yeah,
like, it's all very well, paying to come here or whatever it is, but you also have to mean it.
Yeah,
that's 100%. The main
100%.
thing. And the other thing I would just reiterate is that it's hard. It's all the people that you see that look amazing or achieve amazing things in sport, or they look pristine, or they look that's not automatic.
Yeah,
that is a choice that someone has made. You have to really work at stuff.
It's the same with anything in life. It's like, I kind of think of it as like a skill acquisition in a way. It's like your career, for example. It's like people are aware of you because you're hosting shows on Radio 1, but there'll be no doubt years of student radio or working in other places in order with the goal of getting to that point. It's exactly the same process, really. It's understanding what it is you're trying to achieve, and then having a level of structure that allows you to kind of do that. Whether it's something, when we're dealing with the actors, I like to talk about it in terms of like, if they were to try and learn lines, they wouldn't just try and do it all in one go. Because it's never your brain will never retain it. Whereas if it's like a movement that's difficult, or if it's something like, often we'll give people like small, simple routines to try and do like 2 or 3 times a week to then come in here and we'll elaborate on things. But it's those little bits that you're doing more frequently that then bed in and become like, that makes everything else easy. And it's same.
It's a weird trick almost. Like we're sort of tricking everyone.
Yeah.
Like actors, they're tricking everyone. They're like, oh my God, I'd love to look like that. Well, here's what you have to do. You have to really sacrifice a lot of stuff. Yeah. And the same, I don't want anyone listening to my radio show going, oh, that sounds like hard work. It is. Yeah. It has been hard work for
you make it sound very
25
easy,
years, whatever. But no one cares about that, and nor should they.
No.
That's my own thing. I wanted to do it. But it should never sound like hard work. It should never look like hard work. But I think it's a good reminder that those things are really hard work, and you have to show up and do the training. You have to prepare the interview. You have to. So those are the things that I find quite interesting. Is that you might look on the surface and go, "God, that's like a piece of piss, isn't it? Being a A-lister."
Yeah.
God, I'd love to be. I'd love to be. Whoever is in the latest whatever film. Who is in the latest? I'd love to be Paul Mescal.
Yes.
But I'm really pleased that Paul Mescal in interviews has said, that's not really attainable.
Yeah.
What I look like
very
82.
Yeah.
I don't look like that. I had to do loads of awful, stuff for that. And he now looks much more normal.
Yeah. Something you just said then was, it's when you're on air, you want people to be able to listen to the show, and it's not something that feels difficult or anything like that. And it's a pleasure to listen to it. And I think you have it's quite a strange position to be in, that you're literally part of like millions of people's routine on a daily basis, and there'll be people that are listening to it that the alarm will go off and it'll be sort of your voice there. They're having a coffee, they're going, right, I'm on the way to do a run or whatever it is, and that's quite a cool thing to be part of. That I think your show and your kind of style of presenting as well is very uplifting, and it's quite often very not light-hearted, but there's an element of like joy in it, and that really kind of feeds into how people get going in the morning.
Oh,
was that like a conscious decision, I guess, because it is that show, or is it just naturally what comes out of you?
Well, I guess it has to be naturally what comes out of you. I like making sure people are having a nice time, but you do have to dial it up a little bit on the breakfast show. And remember, especially from 7 till 8, you have to constantly think, people are sad or tired.
Yeah,
They don't want to get up,
Yeah.
or they're hungover, or they're stressed, or they're busy, so normally that's like, so it's quite an easy brief.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have to just be me plus 10.
Yeah.
And
But
that
you're
was-
helping people kind of get out of
Yeah.
that funk or
I can
forget
do that,
about
but
those things.
I like doing that anyway in my real life.
Yeah.
I can help a friend who is like that by doing something.
I mean, you do
or
that every time you come in this gym. You come
Like-
in, bring the energy.
Bring the energy, bring the vibes,
Absolutely.
and bring the grind.
But bring the grind
Most
to the
importantly.
set.
Yeah.
But that must be exhausting sometimes.
Well, yes, it is, but that is the job.
That's the job.
And there are much harder jobs.
100%.
And there are low. I mean, basically all other jobs are less. I get so much praise, too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get embarrassed. So they're like, "Oh God, I love that show today." I'm like, "Okay, please don't go and say well done to a doctor.
Yeah.
Just go say well done to
any
a doctor.
doctor,
Go and grab a
find a doctor.
nurse and just say with consent.
Don't grab it. Yeah,
Go
don't grab a
no,
nurse.
don't grab anyone actually.
Yeah.
From a
Say well
distance,
done.
say
well
well
done to a nurse.
Just a thumbs up from a distance. But yes, it's a very fortunate position to be in, where people are grateful that you're doing a fun thing that you love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you do feel like you are.
But I mean,
you are
similarly
cheating.
for us,
Mm.
it's like we get thanked regularly.
Yeah.
We get to hang out with our mates every day. Our
Mm.
clients are all basically friends, and we can just talk to people for hours
Yeah.
on end during the day, and it's a privilege.
But we're all part of the quilt of life,
We are.
aren't we?
Mhm.
You have to. That everyone's got their role, and I like the role on the Breakfast Show at the moment. It's not
How long have you been doing it?
6 and a bit years.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like, I guess, like something that it will be a question you probably get asked all the time is like what time do you have to start your day to actually do that? And was that
it's
quite?
actually not too bad. It's 5 o'clock, just after 5.
Yeah.
But
Which for a lot of people is like, oh God, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, but the hard thing about it is that, but this is the other thing, is that people are getting up at 5 to do jobs they don't want to do.
Yeah.
So I would never ever moan about it ever.
Mm-hmm.
But the hard bit of it, and the thing you have to train your brain, is that you're on immediately. And no matter what you're feeling like that day, you have to go and do the thing. You have to go and
Yeah.
it's showbiz.
Mm.
You have to do the show.
Mhm.
So you have to go on and do the same.
100%.
I think we can understand that to a certain extent, because obviously if you have a job where, I don't know, you can be driving or sitting in an office doing emails, you don't have that immediate interaction with a person.
No.
Whereas when we turn up, just hitting my microphone out the way, when we turn up, we have more or less 15-20 minutes to, depending if we're late or not, to get ourselves in check, and then you're with a person, and
who's
it's an
paying
hour
you
of
to
time,
be
and it's a
there.
very important hour of someone's time. Similarly, like once that,
You can't hide, I guess.
yeah,
But that's also an amazing challenge sometimes, because that show does cheer me up. I like doing it. If I didn't like doing it, I would have stepped aside and gone, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. I don't
Mhm.
feel like I'm the best person to do it. So I do feel like it really helps me as well. It definitely helped me in the pandemic.
yeah,
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
being part of a bigger thing is just a nice feeling, which is
Yeah.
what I had when I was a listener as a kid, which is it's one of the reasons I love doing it now, is because I've always liked being part of the thing. Just so happens that I'm on the thing,
Yeah.
but I love ringleading it. Really, that's what the job is bringing in that person, this guest, that
Yeah.
caller, this funny clip, this song. That's how I see it in my head.
Mhm.
So I get to go and do that every day, which often cheers me up. So whatever's happening in my life, Dad being ill this year, Nan died last year, whatever it was, Bella being stressed about a thing, whatever's going on in your life, I get to go and sort of sit in a fun bubble for 4 hours.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And actually that does cheer me up, because I'm reminded of everyone else's stress.
Yeah,
As well as, like, we're all,
Yeah.
everyone's got shit going on. So that's one of the reasons I find that live radio is so interesting and exciting, is because it's this shared experience of whatever's happening, we're just going to park that for a bit, and we're just going to have a laugh
Yeah.
about this stupid clip
Yeah.
or this funny thing we found last night.
Is that something you have quite a lot of input in, or it's like a team
Yeah.
we are aiming to do these things?
Yeah,
these
we
are
get
things we think could
we
work.
get in and do a meeting every day just after 6, 6:15ish, and that's basically where we make the show.
Mm.
So we look at what's happened overnight.
It has to be though. Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
because
It
it's
has
supposed to
be topical.
reflect that exactly. Reflect that morning. Look at what the news is doing. Make sure we're not too close to a very sad thing, or we're picking up on a thing that actually a bit more lighthearted in the news, and we make a thing out of that. We work out what caller bits we want, but also we leave space for some fun. We leave space for a mad text that comes in, and you go, oh, let's follow that for a bit. But that's, I get it, it all links up. It's the fact that you don't have to shut off bits of your personality, things that you loved when you were a kid, just because you're getting older.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this place still is it's joyful. It's not an intimidating place to come and work out. It's not, as we joked at the start of the episode, it's not overly, masculine, broy, whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone is welcome, and that sort of aligns with those are my beliefs as well, that everyone is welcome and should have a space.
We really wanted to make an effort to make sure that was the case, because it's very easy for a gym environment in particular to feel very intimidating, and people to feel extremely self-conscious, whereas we wanted people to be able to come in and feel at ease in a place that maybe normally they wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, there is a huge fucking problem here, is that you've got actors and they are all beautiful.
Yeah.
That is a problem. When you get over that, and I'm just there looking like a potato in an old Maximo Park t-shirt. And
I mean, you have the best gym outfits.
Oh yeah, I really enjoy seeing what band t-shirt
which
you're turning
band
up.
Yeah,
Because sometimes it will literally dictate what music is in the gym.
100.
Yeah,
We will
nice.
change it based on Greg's t-shirt.
Yeah.
Can we come on to something that we have recently renamed? We've called it Humbled in Hollywood, which for you, we could call it, I mean, the premise is the same.
You've interviewed a bunch of people from Hollywood.
I have
probably been
been
there
to
a couple
Hollywood.
of
I've
times,
not starred in a
So
Hollywood flick.
the idea is it's a time when you felt like you've been humbled, or you feel very human in a very abnormal, because we work in this very strange world of, as you said, showbiz earlier, but you don't get embarrassed.
I don't really.
Ever,
I think
by the
Radio
sounds
1
of
sort of
things.
beats that out of you,
Mhm.
which is a nice thing in a way. It's given me so much confidence to dick around, and people tend to respond quite well to it.
Mhm.
So you go, well, just keep doing that then.
Yeah.
So really, I mean, once you've taken all of your clothes off and been on a wrecking ball like Miley Cyrus, there isn't anywhere else to go. There's no shame.
You've done it then. Yeah.
So it's sort of for me, that felt like a real moment. It was like a
Also,
watershed moment.
What a thing to do.
Yeah, I
I
don't
bet
know
that
why,
was fun.
I don't know where that came from. I think it came from fuck it.
I mean, it sounds like the wrecking ball was already there, and you were like, I'm just going to get naked. I'm
We had to
sure
drive-
you planned it a
I
little
drove
bit.
to Kent. I
Right,
drove the
yeah.
whole team to Kent because we found one of the few remaining
Wrecking
balls in the UK, because they don't really
They
exist.
don't
Oh,
use them
really?
anymore. No.
No.
They're quite dangerous
They're
things, really.
quite old
Yeah.
fashioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
they're
there-
absolutely mad?
Was there a
aren't they?
moment in that journey that you were thinking, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
No,
No.
but when I got
The
on
whole
it,
time excited.
when I got
just
on it,
like,
there
yay.
was. When I got on the wrecking ball, I did. Yeah.
Was it cold?
It's interesting that, because I look at that person, and I mean, I was quite out of shape as well, actually. But if I'm true to my earlier thoughts, it's like, just you got to love your body.
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Love whatever your body looks like. And I sort of didn't have any shame then. And then I sort of nearly did have some shame when I saw some of the comments that were like, oh, God. And I thought that was a bit mean.
Yeah.
But I understand why that happens, because the world conditions you to think that you should all look like Superman.
Yeah.
And actually, I was just quite spindly and a bit podgy and pale as fuck on a wrecking ball. I had to put my private parts into a sock.
We've talked about this before.
An actual sock or like a silk
It was
pouch?
my
A
producer
special
Travis's
actual
sock.
sock.
Yeah.
Right, so this is like the budget version of what they do in Hollywood, which is like a lovely silk pouch.
And then Miley Cyrus saw the video,
Yes. Okay.
and
Good feedback.
I'm sure she gave you great feedback.
yeah, I think she kind of liked it. Yeah,
She doesn't seem like the person that would be like, he stole my idea or he's
Yeah.
copying me. No, it's definitely in.
yeah, it's a funny one. You have a quick, you have to get over things quickly, and I've learned that from my job.
Yeah.
You have to get over those mistakes, or if you make a mistake when you're talking about the film, or they can eat you up inside those things. So you have to let them go.
They just it happens.
It happens.
just keep
life
moving.
happens. Life is imperfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a real humbling like, this is me. This is me, guys. If
Swinging
you like
away
this,
on
then
a-
you
on a
know,
record ball.
you're welcome. But that was sort of, that was my arrival.
I like it.
And actually, when I met Bella for the first time, she hadn't seen it,
Mhm.
and I said, I just have to sort of let you know.
I love that. Was this on the first date?
I don't think it was the first date,
But like
maybe,
quite early on in your
early
relationship, you're like,
This is
by the way,
this is who I am.
if
I
you,
just
if you
had
Google
to-
my name,
Yeah.
there might be a picture of me completely naked on a record
Yeah,
ball.
I just have to tell you about this. And are you okay
She was.
with it? Well, I
Well,
don't
she
think
got-
she was
she got
over the
over it.
moon. She wasn't like. I think she obviously found it funny,
Yeah.
but I think she's pleased that those days are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
You're
now.
saying you're never going to do it again?
You're a 39-year-old man,
Yeah.
so we're grown up. But
yeah, but again, it's that. Yeah, it's all about context, isn't it?
maybe we'll
If it's
come-
funny,
maybe-
it's fine.
maybe we can train for it in the next year. Who knows?
Well, I'd
Um,
rather do it now. 'Cause
right
I'm looking
now.
much better now.
Yeah, let's do it again.
100%.
Let's
Let's
do it
get
again.
you on it.
Not that it's
Can
about.
we-
Not that it's about
not about
aesthetics. Not about that.
I am going to do one thing before we finish. Because
Oh,
on
here we
every
go.
birthday,
Oh,
there should be cake. And
ah,
look
are
at
you
this.
lighting it?
100%.
Don't set fire to anything in here. It's
No, we're fine.
It's a very, very
Nathan
flammable
is-
room.
nah, flame retardant. Don't you worry about
Is
that.
This is a special birthday cake.
Happy birthday.
For happy
Are
birthday,
you singing
Greg.
or what?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, British
dear
Broadcasting
Greg.
Legend.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
Some ASMR.